In this section, we talk about how the car behaves when moving forward and what should be considered when maneuvering. Imagine a bicycle. It has two wheels, front and rear. When you turn the handlebar, only the front wheel turns. The rear wheel does not. As a result, when you turn, each wheel travels along its own trajectory. The front wheel turns, and the rear one cuts the corner. A car makes a turn according to the same principle as a bicycle. A car also has front and back axles. The only difference is that a car has a pair of wheels on each axle and not one, like a bicycle. By turning the steering wheel, the driver turns only the front wheels. The wheels on the back axle don't change their angle of direction. During the motion, the front wheels turn and go around the cone. The back wheels have their own trajectory. They pass much closer to the cone, cutting a corner. This feature should be taken into account when maneuvering. If the driver turns the steering wheel too early, the front part of the vehicle goes around the obstacle smoothly, but the back wheel of the vehicle touches it. This brings up the question, at what moment do you have to turn the steering wheel? Here it is convenient to be guided by your own shoulder. The driver sits approximately in the center of the car, and it can be said that his shoulder represents the middle of a car. The steering wheel should be turned when the shoulder is approximately opposite the cone. That is, when half of the car has already passed the obstacle. In that case, the back end of the vehicle will travel at a safe distance from the obstacle. At the same time, configuration and position of the driver's seat does not play a big role. Indeed, someone may be sitting a little farther from the steering wheel, someone closer, but the shoulder is still a reliable guide. Look how much space is left to the cone. Even if you sit very close to the steering wheel, the shoulder works as a reference point. Regardless of how much confidence you have in your reference guiding points, you need to keep the situation under control in any case and to monitor the distance to the obstacle. This is done through the side mirror. The most dangerous moment is when the cone is right opposite to the back wheel and the distance to the cone is minimal. Therefore, look at the side mirror for as long as the back wheel passes the obstacle and the danger is over. Let's see how we can apply this in practice. We need to drive the car out of the parking space to the right and to avoid scraping the car next to it. The driver moves in a forward direction until his shoulder passes the car parked nearby. After that, he turns the steering wheel and monitors the back end of his car through the side mirror. The car should move slowly, otherwise it is very difficult to control the situation. It is rather convenient to use your shoulder as a guideline, but the lateral distance from the cone plays here an important role. In order to drive around an obstacle safely, the lateral distance to the obstacle must be a minimum of 2 feet. A question. Now the distance to the cone is 2 times less than it should be, that is, about 1 foot. What do you think will happen if you turn the steering wheel when your shoulder is in front of the cone? With such lateral space, the back end of the car is going to hit the cone in any case. In order not to touch it, you have to turn the steering wheel later than usual. more or less at this moment. Thus we come to the conclusion that the farther away the object is from you, the easier it is to come around it. This principle is often used by experienced drivers. When they drive out of the parking space, they turn away from a nearby car at first and only then go around it. Now let's talk about what to do if you made a mistake, having turned the steering wheel sooner than necessary. In the side mirror, you can see that the distance to a nearby car drops to a dangerous level. In such a situation, it is necessary to turn the steering wheel to the straightforward position. Then the lateral interval stops to decrease and remains unchanged. Now you can go straight ahead, and when the car has almost completely left the parking box, you can turn the steering wheel back toward the exit. At the same time, we need to constantly monitor the lateral distance through the side mirror. So once again, if the lateral interval becomes dangerously close, you need to put the steering wheel in the straight position and then turn it to the right again.